This is Bohemian Poetry Podcast with your host, Eva X. I'm pleased to announce that this is the 5th poetry podcast I'm doing, and would like to welcome poet Andrew Scott from Canada. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell me a few things about yourself?
I'm from Canada. I'm on the East Coast. I've been writing for 15 years now. I just started publishing, I'm going to say, about 4 years ago, making them public works with literary magazines, going to open mics, using the forums that are given to me. So I'm essentially pretty new at this.
As a northeastern Ohio person, I'm only experienced with poetry readings around here. How's the poetry scene in Canada?
Actually, it's fairly good. You have a lot of independent poets up here, and every so often there's a rich history of the poets up here. There's Bliss, the old history of Bliss Carman, Robert William Service, and so for the population and for what we do, especially in, I'm going to say, mid-Canada and Western Canada, the writing situation, the poets, very visible.
That's great to hear. What poets inspire you the most?
That is an incredibly hard question.
I know.
I really like the works of Robert William Service. To me, Edgar Allan Poe is one of the most intelligent writers on the face of the planet.
That's my number one.
And then I get into, believe it or not, lyricists. Steve Earle, Stephen Harris. I read a lot of novels, so believe it or not, John Saul, Stephen King, they all affect how I write. And then there's modern day poets that I just think are incredibly well written. There's a gentleman by the name of Mangus Khan, James Boyd, for imagery, Nana Alicia. It's incredible the way they write.
Yeah, so it's safe to say you have plenty of inspiration.
Yes, I like to read, and I like to read, different authors, and so I don't limit myself very much when it comes to that.
What inspires you the most when writing poetry?
Well, I found when I first started writing, it was a great way to get, I'm going to say, a lot of confusion straightened out. You've got a pen to paper, and you're trying to figure out your emotions or things that you've seen. And to me, it's almost a part of cleansing. That's why I started writing, and that's what I still do. I'll write stories of other people trying to understand why or when they did what they did, their emotions as they went through it. So.
And I know you've probably written plenty of poems. Can you read a few for me right now?
Okay, we can read you one. I'm going to say probably the first one I've ever written.
Okay.
And this is called Promised Land. People touch you with one need, with them just pay no heed. They smile with you a gleam, and then all they want is your dream. When you hit the crossroads of life, and someone offers you a hand, smile and say no thank you, because you're going to the promised land. Walking along and being weary is a must, because most people you meet, there is no trust. When they smile and look in your eyes, remember the devil's looking for a soul to buy. When you hit the crossroads of life, remember to take a stand. It's okay to teeter and totter, just do not falter, because you're going to the promised land. When it is time, just laugh, do not cry, because you're the strong and you'll give it a try. You knew this from the start, and there would always be conflict in your heart. When you finally hit this crossroad, everybody will want to be in your band. Just don't forget the people that you're owed, so you can take them to the promised land. And that was that poem.
Very nice. So it was your first one, huh?
That was the first one I'd ever really, truly written.
Okay, impressive. Would you like to read anything else, or?
Okay. Here's one that I had written lately, and a lot of my style lately has been this way. This is called Rose-Colored Glasses. Dusk is setting onto my city. Air outside is cool, clear, and crisp. Excellent evening to take it all in, with a relaxing walk of solitude and thought. Always the complete way to empty the mind and get away from life's little struggles. As I check my surroundings, I look around and try not to think, especially about that house just off the road, a little more than the rest of them, where the street lamps don't shine as bright. I try not to notice the glow in the basement window, erase what the father did in Austria, drugging, handcuffing, kidnapping his own, a daughter just 19 that lived in horror, in the exact same type of basement for 24 years a slave to her father, so he could perform the most hideous tricks. I see a neighbor's house that has a lot of activity, that is according to the cars in the drive, the ones pulling up while I'm moving along. I will not see that mostly men are coming and going, and I'll forget about the husband in Chicago, the one that was selling the wares of his wife to the highest, loneliest bidder in order to see their children. Something like that is too far-fetched for here. Here the husband meets the guest at the door as the wife was setting up as a hostess inside. I will tip my cap a little further over my eyes and walk past a home with active shadows that are being seen through the curtains. I cannot be a witness to the fighting and screaming that takes place in the homes of millions of each day. The ones that are not on this walking path. Here it is family night with the children. No one here is being a victim and getting scars that no one can see. I will make it back to my home clear-headed, not muddled with the events of the world surrounding me. Thank the powers that be for the peace given by a stroll. Take a seat and watch the late evening news, seen through my rose-colored glasses on. And that was that.
A very good piece, and I like to see the difference between your first piece and your most recent.
I visit the old ones quite a bit, and yeah, practice makes perfect, I'm going to say.
Definitely, I agree. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. It was a true pleasure speaking with you and hearing your poetry.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it also.
No problem.